Jake Morgan sat alone in the cockpit of the damaged shuttle. The alarm lights flashed red and smoke filled the cabin. He had tried everything to stop the crash, but the engines were too far gone. The ship shook again as it broke through the atmosphere of the unknown planet below Dot. He closed his eyes, braced for impact, and whispered, "Just let me live." The shuttle hit the ground hard, sliding through a thick jungle. Trees snapped like twigs. The front of the ship broke open, and Jake was thrown against the side wall. He blacked out. When he woke up, it was night. Strange blue lights floated in the air, and the forest glowed. He groaned and sat up. His leg hurt, and his head throbbed. But he was alive. Dot figures moved between the trees. They were tall, with glowing eyes and skin that shimmered like silver under the moonlight. One of them stepped forward. She had long dark hair and wore a robe with glowing patterns. Her voice was calm but firm. "You are human," she said. "Come with us." Jake had no strength to resist. He nodded. The guards helped him up and led him through the jungle. They arrived at a large city made of smooth stone and glowing crystal. The buildings were tall and round, and everything shimmered like stars. The people watched Jake with wide eyes as he was led to a high tower. Inside, he was taken to a grand hall with soft music and floating lights. Sitting on a raised platform was a woman with silver eyes and a calm, serious face. She was beautiful, but there was power in her gaze. She stood and walked toward him. "I am Princess Lyra," she said. "You are the first human to set foot on Zyrelia in 1,000 years." Jake tried to speak but could only manage a weak "Hi." The princess smiled slightly. "Do not worry. You are safe. We do not harm those who come in peace." Over the next few days, Jake was given a room in the palace. His wounds were treated, and he was given food and rest. He spent his time learning about Zyrelia and its people. They were strong, proud, and deeply tied to emotion and spirit. But they also feared humans, believing them to be violent and careless. Princess Lyra visited him often. At first, it was to ask questions about Earth and human history, but soon their talks grew longer. She began to ask about his life, his dreams, and his fears. Jake, with no reason to hide, told her everything. He spoke of his work as a shuttle technician, his love for the stars, and how he never felt like he belonged anywhere. Lyra listened closely. She seemed moved by his words. On Zyrelia, people rarely shared emotions so openly. One afternoon, she brought him to a quiet garden. The trees glowed with soft light, and the air was warm. They sat near a small pond, and Lyra looked at him with soft eyes. "You speak with truth, Jake," she said. "Here, many hide their feelings. But you are not like that." Jake shrugged. "I guess I just don't see the point in hiding. I've lost too much to waste time lying." Lyra was silent for a moment. Then she smiled. Unknown to them, another pair of eyes watched from the shadows. A younger woman with silver eyes like Lyra's, but a more curious expression, stood hidden behind the trees. She was Princess Lyra, Lyra's younger sister. She had been watching Jake from the day he arrived. She was fascinated by him. The way he spoke, the way he looked at her sister, the way he moved like he didn't know he was being admired. Jake, unaware of Lyra, continued his days with Lyra, learning more about the planet. He slowly felt at ease. But he also noticed that something was changing. Lyra's visits became more frequent. Her questions became more personal. Sometimes she would sit in silence with him, just enjoying his presence. One night, Jake sat on the balcony of his room. Looking at the stars, Lyra came beside him. She looked at him for a long moment, then said softly, "There is much about you I do not understand, but I feel drawn to you, Jake." He turned to her. "I feel the same. This place ... It's all strange, but it feels right somehow." Down below, in the garden, Lyra stood hidden once again. She clenched her hands as she listened to their voices. "You are not the only one who feels this way, sister. she whispered. I desire him too. And so, the quiet peace that had started to grow would soon turn into something deeper, stranger, and far more dangerous. Jake woke up to the sound of soft music coming from the garden outside his window. The sun on Zyrelia rose slowly, casting a golden light over the crystal trees. For the first time in a long while, Jake felt calm. He had been through fear, pain, and confusion, but something about this place made him feel safe. Later that morning, Princess Lyra came to visit him again. She brought a small bowl filled with glowing fruit. These are moonberries, she said with a smile. They grow only in royal gardens. Try one. Jake bit into the fruit. It was sweet, with a taste like honey and citrus. He smiled. Not bad, Lyra laughed softly. That is high praise from a human. They walked together through the gardens. The flowers moved with the wind, and the air smelled fresh and sweet. Birds with silver feathers flew between the trees, singing songs Jake had never heard before. Lyra spoke about her people's traditions, their music, and the history of the palace. Jake listened closely. He found her voice calm and comforting. He also noticed how often she looked at him when she thought he wasn't watching. Her eyes held a warmth that hadn't been there before. Over the next few days, they spent more time together. Lyra showed Jake the city from the sky using a floating platform. She took him to a hall of memories where ancient stories were told through light and sound. Each time, they laughed more. They grew closer, but Jake also began to feel someone else watching him. At first, he thought it was just the guards. But sometimes, when he walked in the palace halls or sat in the gardens alone, he felt eyes on him. Then, one day, he saw her. A young woman with long dark hair and curious silver eyes stood at the edge of the garden path. She looked at him then, quickly turned and walked away. Jake asked Lyra about her. That is my sister, Nira, she said. She is quiet and likes to keep to herself. She was watching me, Jake said. Lyra nodded. She watches everyone. It's how she learns. The next evening, Jake was sitting near the palace fountain when Nira appeared again. This time, she didn't run. She sat on the stone bench across from him. You're the human, she said. Jake smiled. That's what everyone keeps telling me. She tilted her head. You're different. Not just your face or your voice. You feel different. You're not like the others. Jake chuckled. I've been told I'm strange. No, Nira said, watching him closely. Not strange. Honest. You speak what you feel. That is rare here. From that night, Nira began to speak to Jake more often. Their meetings were short, quiet, and always away from others. She asked questions about Earth, about love, about dreams. Jake answered as best he could. He didn't know that Nira was keeping her visit secret from Lyra. She didn't want to cause trouble. But each time she spoke with Jake, she felt something growing inside her. Something new. Jake, meanwhile, started to feel confused. He liked Lyra. She was kind and strong. But Nira had a wild spirit that pulled him in. She was curious and bold, and she saw things others miss. One day, Lyra invited Jake to a dinner in his honor. The royal hall was filled with lights and music. Zyrelian nobles sat at long tables, and everyone wore fine robes. Jake felt out of place in his simple clothes, but Lyra stood beside him and placed her hand on his arm. Tonight, we show the court that you are welcome, she said. As they sat, Nira entered the hall. She wore a long silver dress, and her eyes searched the room until they landed on Jake. Their gaze met for only a moment, but it was enough. Throughout the night, Jake felt the tension grow. Lyra leaned closer to him, smiling, speaking softly. Nira sat at the other end of the hall, but her eyes stayed on Jake. He felt caught between two stars, each pulling him in a different direction. Later, after the guests had left, Jake stood alone in the garden. The stars above Zyrelia shone bright. He closed his eyes and tried to calm his mind. You look lost tonight, a voice said. It was Nira. She stepped out from behind a tall plant and walked toward him. I am, Jake said. Your sister, she's kind. She makes me feel like I belong. And me? Nira asked. Jake turned to face her. You make me feel seen, like I can't hide. She stepped closer. I don't want you to hide. Not from me. Jake didn't know what to say. His heart beat faster. Behind a window high above, Lyra watched the scene. Her eyes were full of thought and worry. The quiet moments were over. Something deeper had begun to grow between all three of them. And soon, none of their lives would stay the same. The Festival of Binge was the most important event on Zyrelia. It only happened once every 10 years. On that day, people shared their true feelings through a special ritual. No one could lie during the ceremony. Emotions were shown through light, sound, and color. The whole city waited for it. Jake stood at the edge of the grand square. Bright lights floated in the sky, and soft music filled the air. Princess Lyra stood beside him, wearing a long robe made of silver threads. Her hair was braided with small crystals. She looked calm but serious. Are you ready for this? She asked. Jake looked at the glowing platform in the center of the square. As ready as I'll ever be? She smiled gently. You don't have to speak unless you want to. The ritual shows what is in your heart. Jake nodded. He felt nervous. He didn't understand how this ritual worked, but he trusted Lyra. One by one, people stepped onto the platform and took part in the ritual. When it was their turn, a soft light would rise around them, showing their emotions as colors and shapes. Some glowed bright red for love. Others showed deep blue for sadness or golden light for hope. Then it was Lyra's turn. She stepped onto the platform, and the air became quiet. A warm golden light rose around her. Slowly, soft red waves moved through it. The people gasped as they saw the meaning. Lyra's feelings were clear. She felt deep love. And the light moved in Jake's direction. Jake felt his heart pound. He had known she cared, but seeing it this way made it real to everyone. Then a voice spoke. I asked to step forward. It was Nira. She walked through the crowd and stood on the edge of the platform. Lyra looked surprised. The court whispered among themselves. Nira was not expected to take part. Nira stepped onto the platform. The light that rose around her was bright and wild, red mixed with gold and purple. It moved fast, showing strong feelings, desire, love, and wonder. And then, like Lyra's light, it turned toward Jake. A wave of silence fell over the square. Everyone stared. Two royal sisters had shown the same feeling for the same man. Lyra's face was calm, but her hands were tight at her sides. Jake looked at both sisters, confused and unsure. Later that night, the court was filled with whispers. Some nobles were angry. Others were shocked. No one had seen this happen before. Jake sat alone in his room, trying to understand what had happened. He had not asked for any of this. He liked Lyra, but he also felt something strong for Nira. Now everything was out in the open. There was a knock at his door. Lyra entered, her face calm but her eyes sharp. I did not know she would speak, Lyra said. Jake stood. I didn't either. I didn't ask for this. I believe you, she said. But now everything has changed. He nodded slowly. What does it mean now? Lyra looked out the window. It means people will talk. Some will not be happy. They already doubt you. Now they will fear what this means. I don't want to cause problems, Jake said. Lyra turned to him. You have not caused anything. Feelings are not wrong, but they carry weight here, especially in the royal family. The next day, Nira came to him. She wore a simple robe, her hair loose. I did not mean to bring trouble, she said. Jake looked at her. Then why did you step forward? Because I had to, Nira said. I feel something for you. I couldn't keep it inside. Not during the ritual. Not anymore. He nodded. I believe you. But this is all so much. She reached out and touched his hand. I don't ask you to choose. Not now. I just want you to know. As the days passed, Jake tried to stay focused. He continued learning about Zyrelia helping in small ways around the palace. But he could not avoid the stares and whispers. Some guards looked at him with distrust. Some nobles refused to speak. To him, even worse, quiet meetings began to take place in secret rooms. Some members of the court believed Jake was a threat to their traditions. They believed he was dividing the royal family. One night, as he walked through the garden, he heard voices behind the wall. He must be sent away. He breaks balance. He makes both sisters weak. If they fight over him, the court will fall into chaos. Jake stepped away, heart pounding. He didn't want to cause harm, but now he was at the center of something bigger than he understood. As he stood there, unsure of what to do, he heard a soft voice behind him. "You must be careful now." It was Lyra. She had heard the voices too. "They will try to turn us against each other," she said. "But I will not let that happen." Jake looked at her. "And your sister?" Lyra looked up at the stars. "She is still my sister, even if we feel the same for you." The bond between them all was growing. Stronger, but so was the danger around them. In the quiet halls of the alien palace, Tyler walked beside Princess Lyra. The walls glowed with a soft blue light, and sometimes they passed tall windows where he could see the stars outside. It felt strange to him, but also peaceful. Lyra seemed happier now, not so nervous like before. She smiled often and tried to teach him about her people's ways. Tyler listened and tried to remember everything, not wanting to make any mistakes. One morning, Lyra brought Tyler to the garden, in the center of the palace. The air smelled sweet and fresh. The plants were strange but beautiful, with bright leaves and shining flowers. He saw floating orbs that looked like bubbles, drifting around. Lyra explained that these were gentle creatures who helped care for the garden. Tyler touched one, and it felt warm and soft. Lyra sat on a stone bench and asked Tyler to sit beside her. She told him that her sister, Princess Mira, would arrive soon. Lyra's voice was gentle, but there was worry in her eyes. She explained that Mira was not only her sister, but also her best friend. She said that on their planet, sisters shared everything, even important things in life. Tyler listened, not sure what she meant. Later that day, the palace grew busy. Servants hurried to clean and decorate. Lyra wore a dress that shimmered like water in sunlight. Tyler was given new clothes, soft and bright. He felt nervous, remembering how important this meeting was. When the door finally opened, Princess Mira entered. She looked like Lyra, but her hair was silver instead of gold, and her eyes were bright blue. She moved with confidence, smiling at everyone in the room. Lyra introduced Tyler to Mira. Mira looked at him curious and then smiled. She greeted him kindly and spoke in a friendly way. Tyler relaxed a little. The three of them walked through the garden. Mira asked Tyler many questions about Earth, about his family, his favorite food, and how he liked living on their planet. Tyler answered honestly and sometimes made Myra laugh as the day went on. Tyler noticed the sisters often looked at each other and smiled. They spoke in their own language sometimes, but always came back to English so Tyler could understand. In the evening, there was a big meal with many dishes. The food was strange but delicious. There was music, and dancers moved gracefully between the tables. Tyler watched everything with wide eyes, amazed at how different life was here after dinner. Lyra and Mira asked Tyler to walk with them outside. The sky was dark, and 2 moons shone above. They sat by a fountain that glowed with blue light. Myra looked at Tyler and told him she liked him. She said she understood why Lyra liked him too. Lyra took Tyler's hand and smiled. Myra did the same. Tyler felt a little lost, not sure what to say. Lyra explained that on their planet, love and friendship were shared between sisters. She said that their family expected them to both care for Tyler, not just one of them. Myra agreed. She said she wanted to get to know Tyler better and hoped he would accept both of them. Tyler was surprised, but he saw honesty in their eyes. He nodded, not wanting to hurt anyone's feelings. The next days were busy and filled with new experiences. Tyler spent time with both sisters. Mayra showed him the city outside the palace, where the buildings were tall and bright. People in the city smiled and waved. Some even gave him small gifts, happy to see him with the royal sisters. Mayra taught him new words in their language, and Tyler enjoyed learning. Lara took Tyler to a quiet lake, where the water was clear and calm. She told him stories of when she and Mira were children, and how they always did everything together. She said that sharing love was normal for them, and that she hoped Tyler could accept their way of life. One afternoon, Tyler sat in his room and thought about everything. He missed Earth, but he also felt happy here. He liked both sisters. He did not want to choose between them. He wondered if he could really belong in this strange new world. But every time he saw Lara and Mira smile, he felt warm inside. Tyler knew his life would never be the same. He understood that Lara and Mira were serious about him. He also knew there were more challenges to come. But for now, he felt lucky. He was not alone in the palace. He had friends, and maybe even love. Tyler woke up early the next morning. He was still thinking about the conversation he had with Lara and Mira by the fountain. He looked out the window and saw the sun rise over the alien city. The sky was a soft pink, and he could hear strange birds singing outside. He wondered what the new day would bring. After breakfast, Mira invited Tyler to see the learning halls of the palace. These halls were filled with light and soft music. There were many old books and shining screens that showed moving pictures. Myra showed Tyler how to use a small device to read the books in his own language. She smiled and told him that she wanted him to understand their world better. Tyler felt grateful. He read stories about the history of the planet and learned about how the royal family had ruled for many years. While Tyler was learning, Lara came to see them. She was carrying a box. She said she wanted to show Tyler a special gift. Myra and Tyler followed her to a quiet room. Lara opened the box and showed them a small silver object. She told Tyler that it was a family charm, passed from mother to daughter. She said that now she wanted Tyler to have it, as a sign that he was important to both her and Mira. Tyler felt surprised and honored. He held the charm in his hand. It was cool and smooth. Lara smiled at him and said, "We want you to feel like you belong here. This is your home now, too." Myra nodded and said she agreed. Tyler felt a warmth in his heart. He did not feel alone anymore. Later that day, the sisters took Tyler outside the palace gates. The city was busy, with people walking and small vehicles flying above the roads. Lara explained how people lived and worked in the city. Some people recognized the sisters and Tyler. They waved and smiled. One old woman gave Tyler a small blue flower. Tyler thanked her and put the flower in his pocket. They visited a big market in the city. There were stalls with bright fruits and beautiful clothes. Tyler tried a sweet fruit that tasted like honey. Myra laughed and said he had juice on his face. She wiped it with her scarf, and Tyler blushed. Lara bought him a simple bracelet made of tiny stones. Tyler put it on and smiled at her dot as they walked. The sisters told Tyler more about their customs. Myra explained that on their world, it was normal for sisters to share love and responsibilities, especially when it came to important matters like family. She told Tyler not to feel worried about it. Lara added that they wanted him to feel safe and happy with them dot in the afternoon. They walked to a quiet park near the city's edge. There were soft green hills and gentle streams. Children played nearby, and a few people played music under the trees. Tyler sat on the grass with Lara and Mira. The air was cool and fresh. He listened to the music and closed his eyes for a moment. Lara asked Tyler what he missed most about Earth. Tyler thought for a moment and said he missed his parents and his friends. He said he missed the smell of rain and the sound of wind through the trees. Myra put her hand on his arm and told him she was sorry he felt lonely sometimes. Lara said they would try to help him feel at home. A few hours later, as the sun was setting, the sisters told Tyler there would be an important meeting at the palace the next day. The Royal Council wanted to meet him and ask questions about Earth and about his plans for the future. Tyler felt nervous, but Lara and Mira promised to be with him. That night, Tyler lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. He thought about everything that had happened since he arrived. He remembered how scared he was at first and how strange everything had seemed. But now, things felt different. He cared about Lara and Mira, and he wanted to stay with them. He wondered what would happen. At the meeting, would the council accept him? Would he be able to stay in this world and build a new life? As he closed his eyes, Tyler heard a gentle knock on the door. It was Lara and Mira. They came to sit with him and told him not to worry about tomorrow. They said they would be together, no matter what happened. Tyler felt safe with them by his side. He smiled and held the small silver charm in his hand, knowing he was not alone. He did not know what the future would bring, but he was ready to face it with Lara and Mira. He felt a new hope growing inside him as he drifted off to sleep. The next morning, Tyler woke up early. He could not sleep much because he was thinking about the meeting with the Royal Council. He washed his face and put on the clean clothes that the sisters gave him. The small silver charm felt heavy in his pocket. He touched it for luck and tried to feel brave. Lara and Mira came to his room to check on him. Both looked calm and tried to make him feel better. Myra smiled and took his hand. She said they would be with him during the meeting. Lara nodded and told Tyler that the council wanted to understand him, not judge him. Tyler thanked them and said he would do his best. They walked together through the bright halls of the palace. Many people stopped to look at them. Some servants smiled and nodded at Tyler. He felt nervous but also proud that he was not walking alone. They reached a large door at the end of a long hallway. 2 guards opened the door, and Tyler saw a room with many people sitting in a circle. The council members wore long blue robes and had kind but serious faces. Lara and Mira led Tyler to a seat in the center. Tyler sat down and tried to sit straight. The oldest council member, a woman with white hair, spoke first. She welcomed Tyler and thanked him for coming. She asked him to tell the council about his life on Earth. Tyler spoke slowly and clearly. He told them about his family, his school, and his dreams. He told them how he had always liked to read books about stars and other worlds. He explained how he ended up on their planet and how everything was new for him. Some council members asked questions about Earth. Tyler tried to answer each one honestly. Then, the council asked about his feelings for Lara and Mira. Tyler looked at the sisters. He told the council that he cared for both of them and wanted to stay with them. He said he did not want to choose between them because he liked them both and wanted to understand their ways. Some council members nodded, while others whispered to each other. After Tyler spoke, Lara and Mira talked to the council. Lara said that Tyler made her happy and that she wanted to share her life with him. Myra said she felt the same and wanted Tyler to be part of their family. The council listened carefully and took notes. The council members talked among themselves for a long time. Tyler waited and tried not to worry. Finally, the oldest council member stood up. She told Tyler that their world was different from Earth. She said that sometimes change was difficult for everyone. But she also said that Lara and Mira were free to choose who they cared about and that the council wanted them to be happy. She smiled at Tyler and welcomed him to their world as a member of the royal family. The other council members clapped softly. Lara and Mira hugged Tyler. He felt so happy that he could not stop smiling. After the meeting, the sisters took Tyler to the royal garden. They sat under a tall tree and watched the birds. Lara told Tyler that she was proud of him. Myra agreed and said she was happy that he spoke honestly. Tyler said he was glad they were by his side. The news spread quickly through the palace and the city. People came to the palace gates with gifts and flowers. Some children drew pictures of Tyler and the sisters. Tyler waved to everyone from a balcony. He felt nervous, but the smiles and cheers made him feel welcome. For the next few days, life was busy. Tyler learned more about the royal family and their traditions. Lara showed him how to greet important visitors. Myra taught him to dance at royal parties. Sometimes Tyler felt tired, but the sisters were always there to help him. One evening, the sisters planned a small celebration in Tyler's honor. There was food, music, and bright lights. Tyler danced with both sisters and laughed more than he had in a long time. Lara and Mira told him that they were proud to share their lives with him. Tyler thanked them for making him feel at home after the party. Tyler stood outside and looked up at the stars. He thought about how far he had come from Earth. He missed his family, but he was not lonely anymore. He had a new home, new friends, and two sisters who cared about him deeply. Tyler did not know what new challenges would come, but he was ready. With Lara and Mira by his side, he felt like he could do anything. He smiled at the sky and promised himself that he would try to be the best he could be in this strange and beautiful world. Tyler woke up feeling calm. The palace was quiet in the early morning, with only the gentle sounds of birds and the soft hum of the city far away. He stood by the window and looked at the garden below. The sky was full of colors as the sun rose. For the first time since he came to this world, Tyler felt like he truly belonged. A servant knocked and told him that Lara and Mira were waiting for him in the garden. Tyler hurried to join them. The sisters stood by the lake, talking quietly. When they saw him, both smiled and called his name. Tyler ran down the path, happy to see them. Lara told Tyler that they had something special to show him. Myra held a small box in her hands. They led him to a quiet spot near the water, where flowers grew thick and bright. Myra opened the box. Inside was a necklace with a blue stone that glowed softly. Lara said that the stone was rare and special on their world. She said it was a symbol of family and hoped Mira gently put the necklace around Tyler's neck. She told him it was their way of saying he was part of their family now. Tyler felt the stone's warmth. He smiled and thanked both sisters, feeling happy and a little shy. Lara said, "We are together now. We want to face the future as one family." Myra nodded and said, "No matter what happens, we will always support each other." They walked around the lake, talking about the days ahead. The city was planning a festival to celebrate the council's decision and to welcome Tyler as a member of the royal family. Tyler was surprised and a little nervous. He asked if he would have to give a speech. Myra laughed and said she would help him write something simple. Lara promised to stand with him on the big day. As they talked, they heard music from the city. People were already decorating the streets. Tyler saw banners in bright colors and children practicing dances. The sisters showed him how the people celebrated important days with food, music, and lights. Tyler liked the way everyone seemed happy and friendly. Later, they went to the palace kitchen, where cooks were making sweet cakes and fruit drinks for the festival. The cooks gave Tyler a taste of a new dessert, and he smiled as the sweet flavors filled his mouth. Lara and Mira teased him about his love for food, and Tyler laughed. He realized that even the simple things in this world felt special when he shared them with the sisters. That afternoon, Tyler and the sisters met with some teachers. The teachers wanted to help Tyler learn more about their language and customs. Tyler worked hard, wanting to be part of everything. Lara was patient and helped him remember new words. Myra made learning fun by turning it into a game. Tyler sometimes made mistakes, but the sisters always encouraged him. He started to believe that he could really build a life here. The festival day came quickly. The palace was full of guests from the city and from other worlds. Tyler dressed in special clothes with the blue stone necklace around his neck. Lara and Mira wore matching dresses that sparkled in the sunlight. Together, they walked onto the balcony above the city square. Thousands of people filled the streets below. Music played, and bright lights flashed everywhere. Tyler felt nervous, but Lara took his hand, and Mira smiled at him. When it was time, Tyler stepped forward. He spoke slowly and simply, thanking the people for their kindness and welcoming him. He told them he was happy to be part of their world and that he wanted to do his best for everyone. The people cheered and clapped. Lara and Mira hugged Tyler, and he felt his worries fade away. The rest of the day was filled with dancing and music. Tyler danced with both sisters, and the people cheered for them. Everyone ate, laughed, and celebrated together. Tyler felt joy that he had never known before. As night came, the sky was full of bright lights and fireworks. Tyler stood with Lara and Mira on the palace roof, watching the colors paint the sky. Mira asked Tyler if he was happy. Tyler smiled and said he had never been happier in his life. Lara promised that they would always be there for each other. No matter what, Tyler knew he had found something special. He had come from far away, alone and afraid, but now he had a family and a home. He was ready to face any challenge with Lara and Mira by his side. As the last firework faded, Tyler whispered, "A quiet thank you to the stars above."